Hello, beautiful and lovely human being. I'm Silwan, the host of this podcast, the Be Better You. كن أفضل هو بودكاست لكل إنسان يسعى إلى تطوير ذاته وتحسين حياته. في هذا البودكاست نسعى إلى رفع الوعي من خلال مناقشة مواضيع مختلفة في مجالات متعددة. في هذا البودكاست نفيد ونستفيد من خبرات ناس تشارك معنا في حلقات متعددة بتجاربها المتواضعة. لذا كن مستعد لتشارك معنا في هذه رحلة لنكون أفضل.
So let me introduce you first from what I know about you, and then you can tell us more about you, okay? So what I know about Coach Fatima Mohammed, that she has always wanted to play football, wear heels, write books, and help women.
Right, someone has been on my profile.
And she succeeded to do so. She succeeded to read.
I definitely am not someone who's about words. It's words and action. So yes.
Yes, you are.
I played, and then he said when I wear heels, I did, and I said I wanted to write books, and I did, and pretty much everything I set my mind on, I turn into reality. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And that she is a certified NLP master practitioner. And not also that, she is a happiness life coach.
Yeah, like the Santa Claus of happiness.
She lends her voice to those living under fear, under shame, and also silence. She succeeded to write first book, Tear the Veil. It was the first step, like a co-author along with 17 fearless women from USA, Canada, and UK. Higher Heels, Bigger Dreams is the book where Fatima she opens up about her life as an Arab growing in a society that's not either appreciative, neither supportive for her as a woman. And I'm so honored to have you here, Coach Fatima, because I'm really truly moved about what I heard.
Thank you, sweetie. That's very kind of you to say.
Dude, I want you, Coach Fatima, to introduce yourself for our audience, not just what I said, because I know that you have more things to talk about.
Well, first of all, you need to start calling me Coach Fatima, though. It's just Fatima Mohammed today. That's okay. Thank you. I always like to refer to myself as the dreamer, because we are made up of dreams, beautiful, quirky, almost impossible, and then an action taker, because like you just said, no, I don't stop عند dreaming, عند الحلم. I alhamdulillah take the steps, and with the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they do definitely become reality at some point or another. Your introduction definitely reminded me to update my information on Amazon and on Goodreads, because I've done a few things. After that, إذا نحكي professionally، يعني خلاص طلعنا من الدريمر والaction taker. I always like to keep things simple. So an author, a coach, and a speaker. An author of 3 books so far. Yes, Tear the Veil was the first. In 2019, I was co-authored. There were so many women from different countries. I was the only Algerian Arab contributing them. The second one, Higher His Bigger Dreams, was released last June in Kindle format, and then in December as an audiobook. It was a very beautiful experience, and I do think I enjoy recording books than I did writing them. Lately, I've released part 2, which was a few inches higher towards my dreams. And it's just, again, it's part 2, it's a continuation. you've already said that I do lend my voice, mostly to women, but to anyone who's living under any of those circumstances you've so eloquently described. So when I'm not writing, and I didn't, I've always been writing for a very long time, but then officially it only started in 2019. But then before that, I was a researcher, a conference speaker here in Algeria. Mostly, I was an English teacher. That's how all things have started. And coaching was kind of a natural transition from the world of educating, helping, training students to realize their personal and professional goals within the institutions of colleges and universities here in Algeria and abroad. And yes, as you said, I've had first my certification as a happiness life coach, October 2019, and then I did another one in March 2020, actually, as an NLP master practitioner. And then before I started, I don't know, I would say practicing any of those things on people, I enrolled in a coaching program myself to be properly coached as a client, just to see how it feels and to
Yes.
know how I can give it and offer it to people. And that's when I enrolled in Tony Robbins results coaching, and that was in April 2020. So yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Can I just say that I'm so proud that you are Algerian? Really, I'm so proud.
Likewise, Habibi.
So let me ask you the first question, which is, I know that you talked about in your books that living in society where we as women, we are not allowed to do certain things, okay, or we have a certain image, okay, we can't do certain things. So my first question for you, Fatima Mohammed, was that when did you decided to start making a change, or what was the first moment you decided to share your voice?
Well, as I said, from the moment I was born, يعني الطريقة اللي خرجت منها في العالم, I realized that, well, first of all, my birth was not very welcome. I was the firstborn, first child, and it just happened to be a girl in a family that expected a boy. My birth certificate is different from the actual date of birth because there was so much shenanigans about it that, let's just say, the joy was not as expected, and people did not really rush to City Hall to write me down, to register me.
Yes.
And I knew about that. And I knew about that fairly early. And I was a rebellious child. I spoke, I said what I thought about out loud all the time. I always went the other direction, not just to spite people, which I did occasionally, but because I could see fault on what almost everyone else was doing and what they were saying and thinking. And I didn't want to be part of it, to be honest. So yeah, I've always done that, whether as a child, an adolescent, an adult, as a teacher, as a student, as an author. It's always been there for me.
So do you see that as an opportunity that gave you your voice, because it's just you wanted to prove the lacks somehow, you
Not
wanted
really.
to
I don't think I owe anyone anything or I should prove anyone like wrong or right or anything. For me, it was about my journey, and that's actually how I created the Fatima Mohammed kind of personality because
learn.
it's my journey. It's not about family. It's not about the good or the bad things that they've done, and that could be also a message to women. It's
Yes,
like you are not defined by the
by
things that happen to you, even
yes,
like the most atrocious ones.
respect to you in this point. And I want to ask you, what was your biggest motivator when all this happened in your society, when all people trying to prove العكس somehow, and you decided to just do what's on your head? What was your biggest motivator?
I don't think there was like a particular motive. أنا ما كان في دافع كذا واضح. It
Yeah.
was just like, this is what I wanted to do. This is how it felt, and I always go with with feels right. If it feels right for me, خلاص يعني. Again, I've been that kind of person who looks like they're swimming against the current. بصح فقط لأنه هذاك الكوع وراه ماشي في ذيك الطريق does not mean that it's the right way to go. So I had my own campus, and I pride myself, I would say, on البوصلة الداخلية. I'd say it has always directed me to good things, and yeah, that's probably, I would call that, if that's a motivator, that's it. That's it. My inner campus, it has guided me, alhamdulillah, and it continues to do so.
Alhamdulillah. And what was the reaction of your family somehow, or your environment, when they saw that Fatima really has this voice, really has, and she not just say, but she do?
Mm,
What was their reaction? Was it supportive after releasing your books, after being who you are now? Was there, how did they their vision change
yeah.
somehow?
Well, here's the thing. I will go back to the point when I say that when I do things, I do them for me. I don't do
Yeah,
them to prove other people something, or to just, I don't know, do something. It didn't really matter whether they supported or not. When I wanted to work on something, I just go ahead, plan it, do it, release it, and then share the news. Whether they like it or not, that's their problem. Whether they support or not, I've already done it. So if I'm talking about my small family, my mom is definitely my biggest fan. She's sometimes shocked by the things that I speak about
yeah,
or that I share, especially when I told her about bits and pieces of the first book.
yeah,
But then, yeah, she's there, she's cheering. But then the rest of them, when I talk about the rest of them, probably the people that I spoke about in the book,
yeah.
I have no idea. And in total honesty, I don't care.
I really respect this. I so you have this from the day you were born. That's it.
Oh yeah, oh
Wow.
yeah. My teacher definitely didn't have it easy with me, not with
it's
my family,
amazing.
but yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
So Fatima released her first book, uh, Tear the Veil. Yeah, that's right. Tear the Veil,
Yes,
which was on 2019.
yes. It
That's
was
right.
in 2019 March. I think
Right.
March 21st or 20th, from the headquarters of United Nations, الأمم المتحدة في New York. But then it was, the ladies were there. I was not in Algeria, so it was released while I was away.
Can you talk to us about? Can you tell us more about this book? How was it realized, and why or how Fatima from Algeria participated in this book?
Well, it all happened by chance. Not that there is anything called chance or coincidence. At least that's what Sherlock Holmes says. It was summer 2018. I had an American friend. We worked together abroad, and she's posted something on Facebook. She said, like, she's working on a book project. She's welcoming pitches from women from different places. And I wrote to her. I think I would pass a message here, because a lot of people hesitate too much when they see something. It's like, should I do it? Should I not? Maybe they will say no. then there is always a chance that they will say yes. And that's what I usually go by as well in life. I will ask the question, whatever the answer is, it's okay. I already did my bid. So I asked the questions like, okay, can I join this book? Because that's like that for me. It was like, okay, I've always wanted to write books. This could be it. And then we getting to know the ladies, their stories. They definitely have like way more horrible stories than mine. One of them was kidnapped as a child. She was trafficked. Others had almost like death experiences. Others suffered great and grave losses. And it was nice actually getting to know them, getting to connect on different levels, hearing that I don't know, women in different parts of the world are going through different kind of things, similar and different as well. And that's actually when I got the idea. I was like, okay, this is my time to share myself truly into the world. Do I want to be as like my old me, or can I create a new one? And that's when I signed my first draft as Fatima Mohammed. I think I already have one. It's like there is a date as well. Well,
Amazing.
one thing led to the other.
This is when you see an opportunity, just take it.
Yeah. Well, at least have the courage to just ask, even if
Yes,
it's a no. If you don't get it, it's okay. You're
and
trained on asking questions.
it did
Yeah.
remind me with a quote: "Use 100% of the shots you don't take."
Yeah, it's true. That's totally
Uh,
true. We always whine about lack of chances. We should
chances.
whine about our tendencies to ask and to be willing to take those chances or to create them in the first place.
Exactly. So it's an amazing story you shared with us about the first book, and I want to move to the second book. But before that, I want to read a part that I found, and I really, really, really loved it.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
this part says, "May you find your voice within these pages." Invitation to may to you. May you assume your gender with dignity, wear your scars with pride, slip in those super heels, and march on, head caressing the skies toward your dream.
Yeah,
This was so, so, so strong, really. So, this
that
is
is,
an
yeah.
invitation for
It's
every person hearing us to go and do the things that you need to do, as she said, Fatma. This was part of your book, actually, right?
yeah. That's I think that's in the promotional video, and that's also in the blurbs of the book on Amazon.
Yes, this is where I found it. And
Yeah,
I just want to ask you something. This
go ahead.
book called High Heels, Bigger Dream.
Yeah.
Can you just explain for us why did you choose this name, High Heels, Bigger
Well,
Dream?
higher heels, bigger dreams. That's me in all of my splendor, I would call it. I love heels. I've always loved heels, and I've always had people question my sanity of doing things in heels. While
Mhm.
again, I'm not claiming that heels are a magical solution to stuff, but I know that through different parts of my life, through like a sundry of experiences, all it took was actually slipping into a magical pair of heels. So heels did some really good things for me. And I thought, like, you know what? Maybe ladies don't really know about that. So let me share my experience with it. And
Yes,
again, it's heels. And people say, like, oh, you can't walk, you can't study in heels. I studied in heels. You can't teach in heels. Well, I taught in heels. You probably shouldn't travel in heels. I traveled in heels. And there were some other details that I shared also in the book. So I did it all in heels. I cook in heels. and it just feels good. So I was like, okay, you know what? Every time you question my sanity and the height of my heels, I will grow them even higher. I will intentionally buy higher heels, and I will set myself even bigger goals than the ones that you told me I cannot have or achieve, and I will achieve them right in front of your eyes.
It's amazing. And can you tell us what motivates you the most to write this book?
Well, this book is kind of the expansion of my contribution in the first book,
Okay.
Tear the Veil. Okay, so I wanted to write and I wanted to make it more personal. Well, in terms as it is related to me and to other Algerian women, especially the fact that once I came back to Algeria in 2019, I realized that so many things still happen. So many stories, well, are shared, sometimes criticized, attacked. I said, like, okay, you know what? This definitely deserves its own book because there are so many things that women go through.
Yes.
It's not just their own sex, it's sex education as well. It's violence, it's the upbringing, it's the schooling. Um, well, the marriage and the other ones are definitely in part two, but it's still, it's the body image. It's, I don't know, it's principles and I won't call it expressions, principles and guidelines and everything that is
Oh,
based or probably just thrown at them when it comes to work, to their place in society, their place in the family. Like I thought, definitely
yeah.
deserves its own book.
Yeah,
So
of
I
course,
just went ahead and did it.
of course, and you did it. Talking about marriage, I found again some parts,
Yeah.
and also I was moved when I read it actually. So let me share with you this part.
Go ahead.
How do you ever find your peace in a family that haunts you incessantly with one question? When
وقتاش نفرحوا
will
بيك.
you marry?
Yes.
How do you find your balance in a female cycle that smiles at your face and in the first instant you turn, they stab you? How do you find your place in the true self in a society that urges you left and right and banishes you day and night? What can you
That's
say?
from the second book. Oh, the
Yes,
third one. Well, like part
yes,
two. Yeah.
yeah. So what can you say about this whole paragraph?
I actually almost did not publish the second one because I wanted to go move to the paperback, and then I
Uh-huh.
read like the epilogue and then the introduction, and then some of us like, no, this definitely deserves to be shared because again, it's a the continuation of part one, and I couldn't
Okay.
say it all apparently in one book, so I just moved on and spoke about the rest of it, including marriage in society in general and how I suffered. I had my own share. I still do from the like all of that drama. وقتاش نفرحوا بيك وقتاش نفرحوا بيك. It's like that's نطردي بيها وتنوضي بيها. But also I spoke about really well. That's when I spoke about also heels and flats because while traveling uh, at some point I had to give up the heels, but I was still doing great things, and one of those great things led me to coaching, so I'm still grateful. Talk about travel, something that a lot of women dream about
Yes.
but have no way towards because, well, so many limiting beliefs, so many negative stories, so many horrifying experiences that probably are not even true. So yeah, and then spoke about women because the French say l'ennemi de la femme est bien la femme.
Wait,
So that could be something, well, we share, all of us. We at
Yeah.
least had one experience where we found out that our own sex is not as supportive as we expect it to be. So yeah, and then like I moved on to a few nice things, but then I would say the best parts are saved for next book, inshallah, because
Inshallah.
that's when, yeah, like these two books are kind of more narration and
Yeah.
stories, but then the next book, inshallah, will be about activities and actions and advice, tips, tools, and stuff like that. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Inshallah, and you will do it.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But yeah, I'm working on it, and hopefully it will be shared sometimes soon, in the next 2 months, probably.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
You talked about peace, so I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Um, how can we find peace? Because um, from your experience, tell us how can we stop listening, if I can say, to the outer world, to the external world, and really uh, doing to go and do the things that we want to do, and we just listen to what we want to do, not what our parents or our external environment tell us to do or to be.
Well, there is no, I think, methodological answer to
So,
that. But what I can tell you is it should be like a sound voice or panel, call it whatever it is that you want. عندنا بزاف لي boutons. Okay, so what you can do is that turn the volume down on everyone around you, especially the ones telling you the things you shouldn't be hearing, and
yes.
turn the volume up to the voice within you. نقصي الصوت تاعهم وزيدي الصوت تاعك. Mute على طول. We love
Mute.
mute. Yeah,
Mute,
we love
yes.
mute في command, and then you can do that. You can definitely do that. And it takes practice, but you can definitely do that. Just focus on the world inside you, because that's what people keep thinking, that the world exists outside of them, but it does exist within them. Everything you need is there. So simply
Exactly.
focus on that and stop listening to what everyone else around you is saying. Of course, in certain circumstances, not all of them.
Yes. Talking about circumstances, um, while moving in on your journey, you as the coach Fatima, uh, what was the most difficult, I can say, challenge you faced during this journey?
Hmm. Challenges. I think, again, I will not relate anything to what's around, but I will
Yeah.
start from within. I think the real challenges we face is, and I will always tell you that while the external challenges may be hard and trying, it's the inner one that count the most. And for me, probably the hardest challenge was um, not not having the balance that I have now, not having all the answers, because at some point in our life we are young, we are impatient, we want to see things happen in a glimpse of an eye. نتقلقوا باش نشوفوا les résultats, and that was kind of challenging. But then again, is the not knowing part, especially when we start over. Then at some point you come to embrace it. Outside factors, mm, I don't think any of them felt quite challenging enough, because I've survived. I've moved on, found my way out. So it teaches you and it builds your stamina. And then if you survived, if you've been through this and this and that, you can go through anything and you can come out the other end triumphant. يعني ما هيش حاجة يمكن احنا نخافوا من اللي ديفي، بس صح نقول بالعكس انه التحديات هي اللي تبني العزيمة تاعنا وتبني الاستعداد تاعنا وتبني الشخصية تاعنا حتى. I look forward to challenges, if I can say that. I no longer panic as I used to do. كي يجيني challenge جديد نقول okay, you know, here we go again. Let's find out later. Yeah.
That's amazing. And the most important thing is that this situation or هاد القوة تجيب الpractice. يعني the
أكيد.
more
It's not words.
yes, it's not words. It's just you will go and you will learn from that challenge. The most important
Life teaches you. Life
Yes.
teaches you. I mean, you read
Yes.
about this stuff on and like I don't know. You read about it in a book. You find out about it. You hear it, and I'm like, سهل الهضرة. Easy said than done. But then
Yes.
you live it, and then I always say, c'est l'expérience qui fait la différence.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, exactly. So, as the last question from the first part of our podcast is, what can you say to any scared woman who want to achieve things, want to do things, want to achieve her goal, but she just feels that society is holding her back, or she feels that she can do it, and for example, doing things is just for نقولوا lucky girls ولا girls اللي عاونوهم والديهم ولا l'environnement تاعهم هو اللي دعمهم. What can you say to this to a scared woman?
Well, الحاجة الأولى نقولها لك إنه تيماجين باش حال لي كليونت اللي يجوني في لي كونسلتاسيون اللي عندهم هاد بين قوسين وهما يسموه مشكل and I don't call anything a problem unless it is الخوف. And I have one answer and it usually doesn't change. الخوف مجرد وهم، مجرد فكرة موجودة في عقلك ضمن العديد من الأفكار. Like there's so many thoughts roam in your head and fear is just one of them. The only thing in your way is not society, it's not the government, it's not geography, it's not money, it's not your family, it's not education, it's not this, it's not that. It's you. You are afraid of, I don't know, or you're not ready to do it. And the only way you can conquer fear، الطريقة الوحيدة حتى نتغلب على الخوف هي بفعل الشيء اللي احنا خايفين أن نقوم فيه. If you are afraid of something, do it. And then you كيما الباك مثلا. Let's just give it as an example. Lots of students are scared to death من الفكرة تاع الباك. And then يجمعوا يفوتوا الإكزامان تاع الباك يقول لك اختبار عادي. But that's what it is. انت في حياتك درت دي تيست اختبارات دو فرض فجائي درت العجب. الباك غير كيفهم. It's just what you build in your head about it that changes things. You either see it as just another exam or you see it as this big monster. بصح كي تجمعك تدخل لاصال because you're doing it, I'm like, oh well, it's not really that scary. So if you want to do something and you're afraid, do it anyway. Because people always talk about courage and talk about confidence وكيف تحققها بالقضاء على الخجل والخوف، ونقول لهم انه مش حاجة مبيدات يعني. احنا مش لازم نقضي على الخوف ومش لازم نقضي على الخجل ومش لازم نقضي على الكثير من الاشياء. لازم نعرف كيفاش نتعامل معها فقط. Just how to deal with it. Learn how to deal with it. When you know yourself truly, you will be able to handle any side of yourself, the good, the bad.
It's exactly so inspiring what you said, and this is the truth actually. If we take a moment and we reflect about what you said, it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you just
We've been
stop
through
being
so many scary things. So we
yes,
didn't
yes,
die. We're still here.
yes, exactly. That's the most powerful experience. مثال يمكن نقول yes, this is a powerful example. Finishing with this part,
Okay.
we are going to move to the next part, which is called
do
the
that.
5.
The what?
The 5. I'm gonna
Right.
ask you 5 questions, and
Right.
you are supposed to answer me with one word or one sentence, not more than
Okay.
that.
All right.
Okay?
Let's try.
Let's do.
Yes.
So,
Concise and precise hasn't been really my strength point in the past. But yeah, we'll try.
okay. The first question, what is happiness?
Definitely not defined in a word. It's a decision, it's a choice that you take every single day.
Okay. How can you define a strong woman?
Well, a strong woman is someone who's been through so many things and still managed to put together her pieces and keep going and moving forward.
Hmm? If you had the chance to change one thing in this world, what would it be?
You don't want me to answer that? Oh, well, I think the mentality of, um, let's say, تقديس الأشخاص. I would definitely take that out because that's the biggest mistake that anyone can take and make in this world and age. تقديس الأشخاص. They call it that.
Uh, my next question is, what is the number one value you apply in your life?
I have a code of like this is an introduction to the question, but I've had my code of conduct or rules in my life since I was in high school, and then the first one is be with Allah. واحد يكون مع ربي, and then everything follows accordingly. That's it.
My last question is, you are doing great till now. My last question is, one word to describe Fatima from the past and one word to describe Fatima from the future.
Hmm. One word from the past and one word. See, the past has been so many things, but I would say, hmm, that's not an easy one. A pirate in the past. That's what it was. Okay, I was a
Okay.
pirate. And let's say voice of change. And then put hyphens so that it's considered as one word.
Okay. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fatima, for joining this podcast. It's really an inspiring episode for me. Really, I really felt so happy while listening to you, your
You're
advice,
most welcome, sweetie.
and the mic is yours. You can say anything you want.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for reaching out and inviting me to join you. I've had much fun. This is a different kind of experience, so I was looking forward to it, and I'm happy that we did it. Happy that I've got to talk to you, although the talk was more about me, so I'm looking forward to knowing more about you in the future, inshallah. Proud of you, young little bright star. يعطيك الصحة. All the best to you in this podcast and whatever it is that you're doing in the future, inshallah. And I can tell you that I will gift you a free copy of the first book, Higher Heels, Bigger Dreams, so that you take the
Oh my
time, read
God,
it,
this is
and well, share more with us,
thank,
inshallah.
thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Now, we're all here, I believe we're all here to play different roles. They
Yes,
intersect, they intertwine. كلنا هنا to contribute, ونشارك, and that's it. Each one preserves their individuality and then
of course.
contributes to the group. Yeah.
Yes, of course. This is an important point اللي إن شاء الله نحكوا عليه في بودكاست آخر، يعني
إن شاء الله
تقليد
في المستقبل.
الأشخاص يمكن أن نقول تقليد الأشخاص or
مش
being
المشكلة مش في التقليد، المشكلة ولد في التقديس. when
Yes,
you
exactly. Yes.
like you start idolizing someone to the point that
Yeah.
I don't know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
blinds you and stuff like that. So I've
It
seen a
blinds
lot of that on social media. So
you of what you can do, and you can see what you can do. It's like that. Okay.
كيفاش؟
When you put that person like a model, and how can I say it?
لا لا
Truthfully,
هي في فرق بين انك تشوف الانسان انه مثلا ناجح وتقول مثلا
yes,
ما شاء الله and then you want to do your own thing or
yes.
you get stuck in
Mm-hmm.
awe of what he's done or what she's done and then
Mm-hmm.
live your life, just watching out their every move, their every, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
new news and stuff like that. بعدين نقول لهم للناس نقول لهم هم راهم عايشين حياتهم. Are
Mm-hmm.
you?
Yes, thank you for this point. You should, everyone should live his life. That's it.
هذه هي، كل واحد يعيش حياته. احنا نشوف في السوشيال ميديا انه ناس مبرونشين في حياة واحد اخر. Of course هذا
Yes.
اللي داخله في الانفلونس and all of that. But
Mm.
then um,
What
الوعي
about
is really important when you ask yourself, when I spend 1 hour watching someone's feed, commenting and stuff, like, what am I truly doing? Because they are
Mm.
living and I'm just reacting to their life instead of doing something that would impact, change, I don't know,
Mhm.
have an effect on my own life, a real one.
I'm glad we talked about this as the last point, because social media is doing such a damage for today's teenagers, especially.
teenagers كامل الناس، يعني كل واحد مش قال لك لا، اسمه الزعيم can't remember his actual name. خلي بالك من اللي غاليغك، بس احنا نقولوا خلي بالك من عقلك ومن وعيك.
Mhm.
That's it. People no longer watch out what goes inside their brains and inside their systems. Yeah.
I think this is a beautiful part to end this beautiful podcast with this beautiful woman. Thank you again for joining me today, and
You're most welcome. Pleasure has definitely been mine.
of course, inshallah, we will see you in another episode to talk more about
Inshallah.
more subjects. Thank you.
بإذن الله. You're most welcome. Take care.
Take care.